Welcome to the Love and Sex Today show with Dr. Doug Weiss. Doug has been healing hearts and relationships for decades. He's helped thousands of people release the shame and the guilt, restoring hope, helping people get free from addictions to enjoy a better sex and love life. Here he is, your host, Dr. Doug Weiss.
Welcome to Love and Sex Today. I am Dr. Doug Weiss, and I am here for our 40-second conversation. Today's topic, touch me, please. Remember dating when you were spending so much quality time together, talking endlessly about all kinds of things, or just staying on the phone and nobody was saying a thing? How about your hands? They were constantly hugging, touching, etc. Your spouse, your partner. Well, today I want to talk about bringing the touch back into your relationship. Now, I want you to go to loveandsextoday.com, subscribe there, review us on iTunes. Very important that you get to be heard, and that is one way people get to know what you're thinking and what you're experiencing on Love and Sex Today. One of you will every month be chosen for a private conversation with myself, and that will be a total blast. Getting to know you is really becoming fun. And also, there's that button where you can, hey, Dr. Doug, I want you to talk about this. This is what's going on in my life. Answer this question for me. That button is there for you as well. We do want to start incorporating your voice onto this podcast. Also, there's a free chapter on the webpage. You want to go to that and get that every single time because it's very positive and it's good for the heart to read a little bit and learn something. Now, I want to come back to this topic of touch. This is a big deal. And, most of us have heard some of the research or myths or stories about babies that weren't touched in orphanages in faraway countries and how significantly it damaged them. And even through their adulthood, how they were disturbed. Because touch is a critical ingredient that we all long for, we all need. We are interesting in the way our culture presents humanity. Our culture presents humanity as if we're individual units. We're really more of a herd, a tribe, a group, much like many animals in the animal kingdom. We really do need to be touched. We need to be petted. We need to be having those hugs and affirmations and stuff like that. And so it is definitely something that is so important to the human being that we touch each other. You can see it from kindergarten all the way through college. Kids touching each other, hugging each other, pushing each other around, playing sports, wrestling together. This is something that's so primitive, so part of who we are. And when I say primitive, I mean just it's kind of a prime need. And it's not doesn't need to be labeled as bad or anything like that. It's wonderful that we're a community animal, that we love to be touched. I have a dog. His name is Moses, but he doesn't have a brother or sister with him because we're his family. But Moses, he likes to be touched. He's definitely a herd animal. And when I come home, he'll make sure that I give him attention because he just wants to be touched. touch is important to animals, and we are animals in the sense that we are creatures, and we love to be touched. So, and when you're dating, you were touching a lot. So don't forget that you had touch frenzies. You were out of control sometimes with touch, and that was part of the regimen in which you convinced your spouse that you would love, honor, and cherish, that you would take care of them, that you would meet their touch needs because you were so, on it. But how is touch today? You've been married 5, 10, 15, 20 years or in a long-term relationship. How's your touch today? How intentional are you at the back rub, the shoulder rub, the foot rub, the long touch, not just a quick love you, honey, see you later touch, but love you, honey, and I'm staying here for a while. I want to enjoy your body. I want to touch your skin. I'm not even talking necessarily about it in a sexual way or in a foreplay way. I'm talking about really the non-sexual touch. How's it doing? Has it fallen off? Has it been reduced to just a little peck in the cheek? Or is it really alive and well? And if your spouse had to rate you, they're not a 10, Dr. Weiss, they're a 25. They're all over me all the time. I love it. I don't think I'm ever around them where they're not engaging me physically. Well, if that's your case, that's awesome. But I can tell you, millions of couples, they drop off the touch. They get to touching the kids and the dog and managing life and paying bills and working hard and being tired. And the touch just seems to take a secondary place or a third place or 25th place. Seriously, take a moment and really evaluate how much time every day, let's just say in the last 7 days or the last 30 days, you touch your spouse. When are you touching them? Are you touching them in the morning? What does your morning touch look like when you wake up? Do you hug? Do you cuddle? Do you spoon? Do you touch their legs? What's your morning touch routine look like? What's your touch look like during the day if you're home? Or maybe you have to work all day and you don't get to see each other. There's an absence of touch. And when they come home, is it the hug and the kiss still? The touch, the I love you, baby. Glad you're here. And what about after the kids go to bed? Are we sitting in front of a TV just looking at a screen? Are we on our phone? Are we on the computer? Does the keyboard get more affection than your spouse? In many marriages, that has become the case as people are avoiding real relationships to check the latest news or the latest thing on some web page that has no relevance to your life you won't ever remember, and your spouse daily starves from touch. And what about, going to bed? Is there a touch going on, or you just kind of crawl in and turn your back towards the other way and make yourself comfortable and go to sleep without touch? I mean, my wife has touched so much, morning, noon, and night. I'm very fortunate that she's in my office, so I can just go in there and hug her and kiss her when I want to. But what's your touch look like? Really evaluate your touch throughout the day. That'll help you to go, okay, this is something I'm really good at, or this is something I really want to be good at. Because I can tell you, it's very important to your spouse. It may not be their top priority, but the absence of touch is felt. And what I have experienced with couples, now remember, people fly from all over the country and world to come see me and my team. And we counsel people all over at Heart to Heart Counseling Center. And if you need help with anything, give us a call, 719-278-3708. But I can't tell you how many hundreds and hundreds of spouses, they don't touch me. And I can tell you, everyone wants to be touched, whether it's a little or a lot, they want to be touched. And depending on how you're doing, that can make someone build up resentment towards you. Okay, because whoever's touching you has a voice in your life. I mean, think about that. The people who have a voice into your heart, a voice into your life, also have access to touch. And that's why I've seen many guys go astray by a woman who touches them, touches their hand, touches their back, gives them a hug. There's the massage therapist. I just had a guy again in my week. The massage therapist went there for a year, and because of the touch, the woman had a place in his heart, and it caused an issue. All right, so you want to really make sure that this is something that you're really, really being good on, because it's kind of what we agree to when we love, honor, and cherish. I mean, part of cherishing is touching. I mean, think of something in your life that's not human that you cherish. I mean, rarely is it hanging on a wall that you don't ever touch. If you cherish your car, or you're touching it. I mean, you tend to touch the things you cherish. At least I do. Okay. And what are some of the types you give your spouse? I mean, I'm going to go through some things here. Is your touch obligatory? Does it feel like you have to give them the hug, or that you have to touch them, or even have to have sex? I mean, if you're coming from a place of obligation instead of I get to, and you're in a have to, as far as touch, your spouse is going to feel it, and your touch might actually feel negative. That cold hug that you let them hug you, but you don't hug back. If it feels cold physically, it's probably going to feel cold in other areas towards your spouse. Is your touch the quick, short hug, the quick, short touch, and almost as if like they're hot, and you're gonna burn yourself if you actually spend some time holding on? I hope not. Or is it minutes? A minute shoulder, a minute back rub, here and there. Okay, that we're getting warmer. How about the 5 to 10 minute touch session, non-sexual? When was the last time you spent 10 minutes touching your spouse when it wasn't for or leading to a sexual encounter, or during a sexual encounter, where you just took off their shoes and rubbed their feet, or you just happened to be walking around and you just got a hold of them and you just touched them? Oh, it feels so good. Feels so good. And the great thing is, if you're doing it, then of course you can ask for some reciprocation, right? But what percentage of your touch leads up to sex? And guys, this is really important for you to hear, because if you look at your touch throughout the week or two, and a majority of touch is leading up to sex. So when she gets a hug from you or a fondle from you, or you touch her back, or you hold on to her with a long hug, she automatically goes and he wants sex, then your touch is inadequate. And I can tell you, your touch could turn into a negative. Like, okay, if he touches me, he wants sex. So I'm not wanting the aerobic activity tonight, so I'm not going to let him touch me. And you start getting into that untouch me dance. Okay. So make sure that your touch isn't about you, that you make your touch about them. I want to touch you. I want to please you. I want to relax you. This isn't about me getting sex. Because if it is, you don't want that association, because it can get negative on you, unless, of course, you have a woman who always wants to have sex. That'd be wonderful. But you really want to look at that piece, guys, because that I've heard from thousands of women. Well, he only touches me when he wants sex. Oh, that is so sad. Don't deprive your wife like that. How much of your touch is just playful? Just fun, huggy, kissy, love you. Playful touch is fantastic. And, how much touch are you giving your spouse in the sexual dance, in the foreplay, during and after? I mean, that's really, really important touch. And so you want to take your time there. And if you haven't listened to our podcast on the 5 sex language, if your spouse is a patient sex language person, that's out of the book, 5 sex languages, then you're gonna definitely have to be good at touch. And what I'm talking about today, you can find some of these principles in the Intimacy, a 100-Day Guide to Lasting Relationship, or any of my marriage books. You really do want to touch. A lack of touch for some people moves them to feel unloved, unwanted, unimportant, can definitely lead to distance in the relationship and resentment. But set some goals on your touch. If this is an issue for you, if this is something you need to really work on, set some goals, and check in with your spouse. Ask him, do I give you enough touch? Do you feel touched? And hopefully they smile back at you. Yes, honey, you're doing a great job. You're awesome to me. I feel like if you're around, I'm probably just moments away from some kind of physical contact. I hope that's your story. I really do. And if it's not, make it your story. Make it your story. Choose to be an incredible toucher of your spouse or your partner, so that, everybody feels better when everybody's feeling everyone and touching everyone, enjoying everyone. It's a blast. It really is. I want you to go to loveandsextoday.com, subscribe there, review us on iTunes. Really important that you do that. Take the moment to do that. Reach out and touch someone through that. It's a great way. People really do read what you write. And when you say that, this principle changed my life, this changed my relationship, this took my sex to another level, they want to listen to it. And you are actually helping others change their lives by writing those. Also, one of you will be picked for a private conversation with me out of those people who do review us on iTunes, and get the free chapter on the webpage. And please click the button to leave us your thoughts, your questions, the things that are on your heart, topics you want us to talk about. We really are inspired by what's going on with you, and we want to put you on the show. So make it clear so that we can just pop that on, and I can respond to you as soon as possible. Well, as always, I want you to remember, have great love and great sex today.
That's it for our episode of Love and Sex Today with Dr. Doug Weiss. Head on over to loveandsextoday.com and be sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes. When you do, and you post a review on iTunes, some lucky listener is going to win every single month a private confidential coaching call with Dr. Doug Weiss. Also, feel free to ask any question you like. You can push a button, speak your question, and Dr. Doug will answer your question in a future episode. So be sure to subscribe to the show. Doug's got some great gifts for you, and we will look forward to seeing you next time.